This conference is brought to you by CallStack, your React and React Native development experts.
Hello, Wrocław! Today, before we go for a coffee break, we have one more mission to accomplish. Mission Unistyles. Hi, my name is Jacek Pudysz. I'm a CTO and co-founder at Codemask, and today I'm excited to share cool news with you. But before we do that, we need to discuss Fabric pipeline about styling. You can also know me because of my library, React Native Unistyles. This library is a superset of React Native StyleSheet. It's quite popular. It's not the most popular library out there for styling, but it's popular. So, styling. For you, it may be just a styling. You have AI, VR, AR, and many powerful technologies. So it can be boring, but for me, it's the art of styling. I spent last 2 years learning about Fabric, about styling, and delivering for you open source library Unistyles. But before we go further, we need to understand what is zero-cost runtime. Is this even possible to achieve? What do you think? Can we go to zero? Is this possible? To answer this question, let's check a regular React Native StyleSheet API. We have single view and we have StyleSheet. StyleSheet has a function create where you can pass styles like box, and with height and background color is CSS-like properties. But if you go inside the StyleSheet create, this is actually a flow code, so it may look a little bit different than TypeScript. But for the dev path, when you build your app, we will iterate over all your keys like box and freeze them. What does it mean? Well, we will make them immutable. So can we find any performance problem here? Well, no, because for the production releases, we will just return your object. So this is identity function. Actually, we can skip StyleSheet. There is nothing there. If you do that, we will have the same output, orange box. So, have you ever wondered where the magic is happening? If it's not a style sheet, where can we find it? I'm here to answer this question. So, let's start from our view. If we go inside the React Native Vue.js, we will find that in the Vue and Vue.js that we will simply spread our props. So there is no style processing here. We need to go deeper. Inside the Vue native component, this is another React Native file, we can find something similar. Do you know what it is? This is CodeGen. So React Native generates views from CodeGen. But again, there is nothing about styles here. Does it mean there is no style processing on JS side? What do you think? I can see nothing, so maybe that's true. Let's go back and let's focus on native component registry. As you can see, we have here one function call, so maybe it's there inside. Let's explore. Inside the registry, we have a cool pattern. whatever is passed as name of the component will be returned. So that's how React Native resolves React or native components. But again, we have another call for React Native View config registry. What is it? At the end of the function, we should get resolved view config. And view config is just a recipe about what's possible from the JavaScript about a view, for example, view, native view. And this recipe contains multiple things. Among them, we have commands, constants, attributes, and so on. In our case, the most important part is or are attributes. Because attributes are props, are properties. And among them, there are style properties. So we are almost there. This is our style property configuration in view config. So this is a JavaScript object where key is a style property and value is either Boolean, true, or object with process function. So as you can see, some properties like background color are processed before they go further to the native layer. We have also box shadow, border color, and multiple other processors. Now, there is no extra logic about who calls it inside native view. So to find the origin of the call of transformation, we should go to the Fabric, to the JavaScript layer of Fabric. And then in line 6500, we can find one if. If the style config is a function, is type of function, we will call it with our property. So we will go from 100 to 100 because for the dimensions, there is no extra transformation. But for the background color, we go from orange. This is plain English. This is not a hex color. So we need to convert it to number. And then, after Fabric does his job, he will call create node function on UI Manager. And UI Manager is exposed to you via the JSI. So if you are familiar with the C++, and I'm sure most of you are, this is just the boilerplate. So this is regular C++ JSI function. So Fabric will call this function with some properties, and among them we have raw props. And raw props are passed further to the UI Manager create node. Let's go inside. This is the last C++ snippet, so bear with me. And again, we have our raw props here, and they are passed to clone props. Now, this may be a little bit hard to understand, but from now on, we have multiple layers of inheritance, conversions, and so on. But from raw props, we will go this path for view. This is for React Native View. So for RCT View, we have view component descriptor. This is another recipe about how to convert your style, like background color orange, to something more, to something that can be understood by Swift or Objective-C or Kotlin. And view component descriptor has view shadow node props. And view shadow node props inherits from view props. And at the end, view props inherits from base view props. So we went from JavaScript, we transformed our values, and we ended up in the base view props. Base view props, this is like a C++ constructor. And again, we can find our raw props. Raw props is a temporary type that helps React Native to move JavaScript props to C++. And here, React Native will divide your props to yoga props if they are related to layout. We have also accessibility props, and down below in the constructor, we have convert raw props for background color. And we will go from 100 to yoga dimension width, the same with the height, and for the background color, we will convert the value from number, integer, to shared color. But again, we are not at the end. After the additional pipelines, conversions, and so on, mounting manager will be called on the Objective-C platform with the list of mutation and the type of mutation. And if React Native decide that we should re-render, we should update the props, we will hit the update props on the RCT view component view. And here, at the end, from JavaScript, we will go here, we will update the background color and dimensions. And again, we cannot do that with shared color or something. We should go from yoga to float, and for background color, from shared color to UI color. So that's all. That's how it works. This is the entire pipeline. Let's summarize it. So we started with 100, 100 and orange, plain English. Then we converted it to 100, 100 and number for color. And then we have JSI, raw props, container. We have base view props for React Native view. And at the end, we have Objective-C++ with the platform-specific types. So this is the default pipeline for React Native. If you use inline styles, you will go through the pipeline. And we can consider it as the zero-cost runtime styling. We cannot do it in 0 milliseconds, but this is the minimum. This is the bare minimum. We cannot skip it. It's not possible. And me, as a library author, my job is to build developer experience on top of that. But sometimes this developer experience is too big, and you can say, it's a little bit laggy, we don't like your solution, like the API is cool, but you know, it's slow. So let's talk about Unistyles. For Unistyles, developer experience is huge. Like, I provide a lot of features. You know them. We have theming, we have access to Unistyles runtime, which provides you values like insets, accessibility props, color scheme, and so on, and they are always up to date. We have compound variants, and each of these features costs you some milliseconds. If we go back to the initial example with the React Native style sheet, to convert it to Unistyles, you just need to change the import, and that's it. Like I said, React Native Unistyles is a superset of React Native style sheet. So this style sheet will work the same. But if you use Unistyles, you have access to 2 extra props, so you can convert your style sheet to function. The first prop is theme. This is your theme. There is no restriction on the shape of your theme. You can put there JavaScript functions, nested objects, and so on. And the second argument is actually runtime from Swift or Kotlin. It includes insets, color scheme, and so on. So the idea is to switch your static values, like background color orange, and hook them to dynamic theme. If you change your theme, background color will be automatically updated. Okay, but to be honest, this is not JavaScript. It may look like JavaScript, but this function is not called in the JavaScript. Unistyles is built on top React Native Nitro Modules. So it means it has a super thin JavaScript layer. It uses hybrids. This is the concept from React Native Nitro Modules. This is object with native state, and when you put your style sheet inside style sheet create, actually we will call hybrid style sheet on the C++ side. Now, we need to parse it, so we'll go one level deeper, because you can use breakpoints, media queries, like syntax that is not supported by React Native itself. Then we will recreate all your style sheet detect dependencies with a Bubble plugin, and we will register your style sheets on the native side in the C++. At the end, unfortunately, like Mark yesterday mentioned, it uses host object. So whatever you put to your function, it will be parsed and returned as plain style. So whatever React Native can understand. Okay, so why did I use C++? Do we need C++? What do we think? Is it just like a cool rewrite to make it faster? Well, it's not always about the speed. I bet it's even slower because of that. I could parse it in JavaScript like anyone, like the other styling libraries. But that's not the case. So if you have a complex application, and for example, you support two orientations, like screen rotation, or you have multiple teams, or you care about window dimension change. Now the magic happens. Because we use C++, Unistyles has native listeners. Native, which means in Swift or Kotlin. So Unistyles will receive native event from the platform. It will call, for example, Swift callback because of that. And because of Nitro, I can keep C++ callbacks to my C++ style sheets. In other words, I can notify that, for example, orientation changed or theme changed, and I need to recompute style sheets or styles. And there is no JavaScript here. So with this architecture, which means by moving code to C++, we can skip re-rendering, we can skip some runtime costs. So if we go back to Unistyles default parsing, when you initially re-render your component or when you launch your app, we need to go through this pipeline. It may cost a little bit. And then on top of that, we have React Native zero-cost runtime. So it will add up. And then we have background updates from Swift Kotlin that goes to the C++. But because of that, we can actually skip some parts of the default pipeline. So that's the goal. That's the case of the C++. Okay, so what about our main goal? About to achieve zero-cost runtime styling. Is this possible? Can we do that with Unistyles or any other library? Let's find out. So we put a simple benchmark that renders 1,000 views inside scroll view and 1,000 texts. So we have around 2,002 native views. And we use basic styling because, it's hard to compare performance to StyleSheet if StyleSheet just consumes objects. There is no dynamic there. And Unistyles is already a little bit faster than the competitors because of the C++, but it's still way behind the plain StyleSheet. It's not possible to beat it. And I never heard anyone complaining about, native StyleSheet is too slow. Like my app is laggy. But I heard a lot of feedback about Unistyles or other libraries that under some circumstances, it's slower than expected. So this is our zero-cost runtime. This is our end goal as a library creator, as the author of Unistyles. And this is Mission Unistyles. How to go from 300 to, 150? For most of you, it's good enough, this 300, but, I can push further. So, can we do better than that? What do you think? Is it possible or not? Yes, it's possible. So, let's say we have another library that is super close to the StyleSheet performance, and it also has multiple features. and it's not a dream. I'm thrilled to announce a new React Native styling library called Uniwind, the fastest Tailwind bindings for React Native. We spent last 2 months with Hubert Bieszczat from Codemask building for you the new library. We put all our knowledge from Unistyles, from Fabric, and we built it from scratch. It's not just a Unistyles copy or clone. This is a new library. It supports advanced runtime properties from Tailwind, like safe area insets. We support almost every property from the Tailwind. And of course, there are no re-renders. If you take a look closer, we even support button color. No hooks, no extra imports, no wrapping, no mapping, nothing. Works out of the box. This is not a dream. This is not a preview for the next year. It's already there. We have support for almost everything. Libraries is actually in an advanced state, and we can't wait to share it with you. It supports shadow tree updates, so no re-renders like Unistyles. Dynamic runtime called Uniwind runtime. It also has access to insets, color scheme, and many other properties. It has the best performance on the market based on our initial benchmarks. We are happy to share them with you. It even beats Unistyles 3.0. It supports reanimated for animations out of the box, just straight from the class names. And much more. I would like to thank Mark Rusavi from Margello for building for me a new cool feature called dynamic types inside Nitro Modules. It means that from now on, we can type everything. So if you pass styles from JavaScript, I have the typed version on the C++ side. And you may ask, what about Unistyles? Based on our Uniwind development, we will build even faster version of Unistyles, Unistyles 4.0. And actually, we built second generation Unistyles engine, so it means we can update any React Native style prop with no mapping, with no wrapping, like button color, style, scroll view, content container styles, some props from Switch, and so on. So if you are interested and you want to be notified about the progress, please leave your email at uniwind.dev, so we will let you know when it's ready. We will offer open source, like free open source version, and one pro version for the teams that really need to push the boundaries with styling and with the performance. It's not a dream, and we are close to beta. We should release it next month. Thank you all. My name is Jacek Pudysz. It was a pleasure to speak today.